Well, we've got the return of our friend Melissa for another new movie review. This is like unheard of. We did Barbie a couple months ago now, I guess.
Yeah.
Which I can post a link to at the end of this. But Theater Camp, a
Which
movie
I
that we have talked about seeing.
Yes, I saw the preview at Barbie, and I was
Yes,
like, ooh.
it came to the local art
good.
house. But for better or worse in the pandemic, things come very quickly to streaming now. So this is already available on Hulu. You can check it out. Let's talk Theater Camp. Hey guys, it is Dan, and once again, yes, Melissa is here. Hello.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yes, when I saw this was available on Hulu so quickly, I texted you immediately. I said, let's watch Theater Camp. Let's do a review. We're both theater people.
Yes. From
way back when, high school theater.
I started in middle school.
Yeah, I guess I did too. And then I did improv in college, which leads us into this movie as well, because most of it was improv.
Which I found shocking.
I did. Which I didn't. Did you know that before you watched it?
No.
Okay.
After I watched it, I was like,
I didn't either. I just found it out a couple days ago, and I watched it I think last week. So, yeah. So anyway, before we even launch into that, please subscribe down below. We love that. Comment.
Yes,
love to hear.
comments.
Love chatting with you guys on the comments. And if you are new to Dan Reviews It, we don't really do spoilers with our new movie reviews, so you can feel free to watch this if you haven't seen the movie yet. It will kind of guide you on what you want to do. So this is written it was based on a short film from 2020, but this is directed by Molly Gordon and Noah Lieberman and they have their directorial debuts here, brand new. But Molly Gordon is a big theater person. I don't know much about her. Like, I don't know if she's like a Broadway person, but I kind of read into her background a little bit, and she does that. But the screenplay was written by the two of them, and Ben Platt and Noah Galvin, who both star in the movie, who are a couple in real life, who both did Evan Hansen.
Both played Evan Hansen.
Yes, Ben Platt originated the role and then did the movie, which was horrible. I hear the play is very good.
I did not see the movie. I did see the play, but it was the traveling show.
Okay.
And it was very good.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, y'all can watch my review of that if you want. But yeah, I think I gave it like a C- or something.
It's really hard to bring some of these musicals to the big screen.
And I know he wanted to replay the role that he originated, but he was way too old to do the movie version. He was like 30 at that point, I think.
Well, all of these people play adults, so
yes.
that's believable here at least.
Yeah, but anyway, so Noah Galvin took over for him in the role. But so this stars a bunch of ABC primetime veterans and the Bear actors.
Members of the cast.
You've got,
not a bunch. I mean, two.
Not a bunch, but you've got Io Aderby, who I didn't actually realize that was her name, but I did a review of the new animated Ninja Turtles movie, and she plays April O'Neil. And I said in my review, I don't know who this person is. And our buddy Tim commented, yes, you do. She's in The Bear. And I was like, oh my God, I love The Bear. So didn't know that. So when I saw her.
As soon as I saw her, I said, oh.
Yeah.
And then I said, wait a second.
And then the other gal.
I looked up Molly Gordon, and I was like, oh. I was like, I knew she looked familiar, but I wasn't really sure
She
why.
plays, Claire, I think, on The Bear.
Yes.
Which I'm in season 2 of that now.
Yes, she's a season 2 member.
But then as for ABC, you've got Noah Galvin, of course, played the lead, really, on The Real O'Neills back in the day. That was a good show. Jimmy Tatro is currently on Home Economics.
Which, do you watch that?
I do, and I love it.
Too.
It's on after the Connor, so of course it's on my radar.
Very similar, I don't want to say role, but it's kind of similar personality.
He's doing,
a little bit of the same
That's kind of what he does.
Okay, because I
but you know what?
Seen him in a
I'm
lot
okay
of
with
things.
it.
No, he does a great job with it. He's so believable.
Yeah, very funny. And then also the older woman here, Caroline Aaron, who we've seen in so many things. Currently, she's on Mrs. Maisel, but she has shown up in Desperate Housewives, Boston Legal, Private Practice. So she's like an ABC
not over the top
primetime vet.
I loved that about
in
her
this.
She's not over the top.
Yeah, in Maisel, everybody's a little bit exaggerated.
Everybody's a little over
in
the top in Maisel. But she really, I thought everybody, I thought the supporting people were like the right amount of like big or campy or whatever. Like it was
whatever they
just,
needed to be.
Yes.
So the basic plot here is that this woman who has run this theater camp forever, played by Amy Sedaris, who I recognized her voice right away. I didn't know she was in the cast, but as soon as she started speaking in the voiceover, I was like, okay, this is Amy
I don't
Sedaris.
think I recognized her voice right away. I was like, oh, Amy Sedaris is here.
So she's in it briefly because her character falls ill at the very beginning, and so it is left to her son, who's played by Jimmy Tatro, to get the camp up and running for the summer. He has no idea what theater is even. Like, he's got no clue.
I'm not even sure, even though he goes on about his business experience, I'm not sure he even really has that.
No.
He's not opening the mail. I mean, none of these things are spoilers.
He just does not really know what he's doing. So basically, we learn throughout the course of the movie that the camp is in trouble financially, and so it's sort of up to him, who has no idea how to even do a play or anything,
Right,
to kind of save the day. So that's the basic plot points here. But yeah, so we mentioned briefly, this is largely improvised.
Which, again, when you see it, I feel like you're going to look and be like, you'll be like, okay, I see it, but there's so many things that happen that, like, I don't know how they pull it off.
The reason I thought to even look it up is because, to me, it is very much a, like, homage sort of to the Christopher Guest, like Waiting for Guffman, Mighty Wind kind of movies, and they're largely improvised.
But the thing I wanted to say as soon as I was done, I was like, I feel like I just want to tell Dan, this is a Christopher Guest meets what's the Red Hot American Summer?
Oh yes, shades of Wet Hot American Summer
and
for sure.
Meatballs, meets
because of the camp aspects.
We've got the camp aspects, but then even like we've got intercamp, meeting kind of things. Meets. There was a third thing.
Was Wet Hot American Summer improvised? I never looked that up, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was. There's so many pros in that.
That is very...
Amy Poehler. I mean, there's so many, like, pros of improv in there.
It's got so much...
We'll have to look that up. Yeah. But yes, I definitely got shades of that as well.
And then there was a third thing that I was like, oh, it's a redo of this.
And well, the other thing with the Christopher Guest stuff is this is a mockumentary as well.
The mockumentary.
And so that sort of...
piece about that.
Yeah. So that sort of was my main sort of thought on the...
And Fame.
Oh, okay. I never saw Fame, but that makes sense. Okay.
Oh, you've got to see Fame.
I saw that.
You got to see the old Fame.
I saw the terrible remake.
Both Fames.
I saw the remake.
You got to see the old Fame.
But yeah, so because of that mockumentary style, I was like all in on the Christopher Guest vibes, and then I learned it was improv mainly, and I'm like, that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I kind of forget that those are so funny.
They're
so well done. My two favorite are Best in Show and A Mighty Wind. But
Best in Show is fantastic.
But I know other people are. I mean, this is more like a Waiting for Guffman because of the
theater
piece
aspect.
Of it.
Yeah.
But I mean, everyone says this is Spinal Tap is the classic.
Yeah, and as a music person, I would say that's probably true. Although,
but I would be shocked, like not knowing that ahead of time. Like if someone tells me, "Oh, these are improv," I'm like,
yeah, how can that be? I will recommend another mockumentary music film, which is Pop Star Never Stop Never Stopping with Andy Samberg. The Lonely Island guys wrote it, so it is written. It's not improv, but in terms of a music like mockumentary,
right,
top notch. It's hilarious. So that's another one. But anyway, so with our background in theater, here's the thing I think I like the most about theater people. Is that of any sort of niche group, I guess, certainly that came out of high school, I think theater people can sort of laugh at each other the most and sort of acknowledge, like when you watch this movie, you can definitely see, if you're a theater person, you can see yourself and you can see every single person that you've ever done theater with in different characters.
And the thing about theater people, when you're saying about like laugh at themselves and laugh at each other, when you're with the theater people and you're like making fun of each other, it doesn't hurt like being made fun of by anybody else.
Right. Because you're all in the same boat.
It's all like out of love and one-upping. You're funny and like trying to like, it's not. It's a safe place to be able to do that.
Yes.
And I love that. That is really
because it's an outcast factory.
This is a safe place. Like if you don't belong, that's the theme here.
And like as a example, I guess, of the opposite. I do know a person or two that was actually kind of offended by Barbie's, oh, well, I talk about The Godfather too, and it's like, yeah, that's yes, that's correct, but like, if anybody sees themselves in this movie in theater camp, even if the character is sort of a mess or whatever, or over the top, or you can see yourself in that character and be like, oh yeah, that was me, or oh, that's my friend, whoever. And I, I feel like theater people have always been in on the joke,
Yes.
which makes sense because when you're on stage, it helps to be able to laugh at yourself. Like, look at, Melissa McCarthy, for example, never cares about looking foolish or silly. It's all for the gag.
Well, and I think for me, like, one of the things that made me be more comfortable was I did a lot of physical comedy and like really early, where it was like pratfalls and running into things and like stage falls and those kinds of things. I'm a really clumsy person, so like, it made me more comfortable to.
So you lead
like,
into that kind of.
Right. I'm like, I can do that. I can do that fake.
Right.
So it gives you this like outlet to be yourself, where you get to control the joke.
And so this movie, I think, plays in on all of that. And the kids here, I assume, these are actual like kids in improv groups in the real world or something, because they were all
really
great,
really talented,
really sharp.
Like, I didn't think anybody was child actory.
Yeah, not at all.
I mean,
unless they were meaning to be,
right,
like when they did the stage portion. But yeah. So and another thing I picked up on that I don't know that I think about very much, but the script of this, or the non-script or whatever, the themes of this really kind of lean into the fact that young kids, 6, 8, 10 years old, are part of these really, really mature, like they talk about doing, was it Rent? They talk about doing Rent in here. And I know there was for a little time.
I think some of that is pushing the boundary a little bit. Like, you're not doing Rent with the, upper elementary, middle school set. They're not,
but they do,
and they're not doing Rent in high schools either, guys. Like,
not
those
anymore.
of you who are gonna,
I think maybe they did once or twice.
Run out there and be like, "We're corrupting no one's doing."
SNL did a good sketch about that when Amy Schumer hosted. They did a little Rent where it was I forget what the disease was instead of AIDS, but it was like,
That's really funny. I gotta look that up.
Yeah, it's very, very funny. But yeah, this kind of leans into that, like, because they have them do scenes and stuff, and like when they're auditioning, and they're all doing these like, oh, I'm a divorced, mother of 2, and I've got this. And it's like
there's a cocaine bit.
Yeah,
that's really very, very funny.
Yeah, and so. It made me realize, like, oh yeah, like we really, theater kids, I feel like maybe mature faster because they're put in these like plays and stuff that are definitely, or even if they're not put in them, if their school doesn't do them, their parents take them to the theater and see them,
it's
things that are way like more advanced.
Faster, because I will say there's a lot of us who are very like childish still, and
in ways,
it's very like interesting dynamic. You're exposed to these things, so it doesn't bother you, but you're
maybe
also,
that's what it is, yeah.
So and you're not shocked by it, and you're very worldly. I feel like worldly, I'd be like, you're just, which means you're accepting of a lot more things than you would be.
Well, yeah, and certainly theater people, have always been more accepting, obviously, to the LGBTQ community. A lot of them are. I certainly was. So I would agree with that. Their minds are more open, and they really, really get to the heart of that stuff in this
Absolutely,
movie.
And I think that getting to see these few outsiders that we see, the Troy, I don't want to get my own things away, but they have sets of outsiders who don't get it, that we see kind of come in and out of the picture.
Well, just in that first scene, in the first morning, meeting, whatever, where Jimmy Tatro is trying to like corral the kids,
and this is from the trailer. You're not. This
is not the trailer. And then Ben Platt comes up and he's just like, "Oh, what a beautiful!" And then they all sing "Morning" and stop and pay attention. And it's like, and then Jimmy Tatro tries it later and fails, miserably. But yeah, so just that kind of thing, because I remember that from when I used to do the teen leaders at at the YMCA. Like it was tough to get people invested at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Well, and that was my
so
job.
we had these like different songs
for
that we would
years,
sing for them.
and that's probably how I kind of became a teacher.
Yeah.
I worked Girl Scout camps for. I can't even give you the amount of time because it was just basically once they let you start being in charge of anybody younger than you, like I did it, and then even after like I had graduated from high school, might even been like between college and my first year teaching. I think I even went back and like subbed for some people, but I did the songs group, which was the like we were the ones who were in charge of. Hey, we're having a fire drill. We're having like we're getting up in the morning, whatever we're doing, and it's that get the attention of everybody,
and that
like,
this nails it in the movie. So yeah, let's talk about I guess the adult actors. You sort of mentioned you really liked how everybody kind of did not oversell their character or whatever.
No, I think
everybody was
few people who were like, wow, this is a lot.
Yeah.
But not so much that it wasn't believable.
Yeah.
Like, you've met that person. You've seen that.
Mm-hmm.
That's not outside the
Yeah,
realm.
I feel like I kind of identified everybody's sort of archetype or whatever, which, to be honest, maybe my one complaint about the movie is that we don't ever really explore these characters at all. But you could say the same about the Christopher Guest movies. They're all sort of, the characters are sort of they're like one note or one lane. And there's so many characters here.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
You get to delve deeply into a
couple of the mains. Yeah.
Because there's just too many people in a 93-minute movie to do it.
Yeah, it's a quick run.
And that's why I said it reminds me of Fame. At the beginning of Fame, it's auditions.
Oh, okay.
And you get to see all the kids with the various niche teachers.
Right.
Acting, music, dance, etc. And you get to see a little bit of the teacher's personality, but they're supporting characters.
Mm-hmm.
They'll come in and out a little bit in the movie, but they're not the main thing.
Focus,
it's really these kids, this is the opposite. The characters here, it's not the kids.
Right.
It is the counselors.
It's the adults, yeah. Well, and like you mentioned the auditions, I did sort of think that this could have veered into like, okay, more like kind of skit-based comedy. Okay, now we've got this group doing this, and this group's going to do this. And the fact that it's improv and it didn't kind of go that way is impressive. When I first heard that I was like, okay, well, it's probably just going to be like they go to the camp and then it's just skit after skit of like, here's, this group doing this kind of joke or this scene or whatever.
No, it has
it never actually does that.
It has a story.
Yeah.
They do end up focusing just on one of the like 5 or something productions that they're going to do over the
which is like so the basic premise of a couple of the counselors, Molly Gordon and Ben Platt's characters, they grew up in the theater camp, and every year they write an original production, a musical, and this time it is based on the Amy Sedaris character, and then who's the founder, and then we see that production at the end, and that's the last like maybe 15 minutes is basically the production, which I thought was great. The songs,
it was very interesting,
and
they were so catchy. They were so Broadway sounding.
Yes, it was Broadway sounding, but it wasn't too good. It wasn't too slick. You fully believed, okay, this is a theater camp putting on a play that they a musical that they just learned over the last couple of weeks or whatever. It was very, very believable in that sense, but it wasn't so bad that you'd be like, oh, why would this theater camp be in business? Like, it was good. It was a good production. And yeah, the songs were really good. Yeah.
It just, we can't give anything away. Like, you really have to see it, because I feel like the movie, I don't even say it slows down, but you're wondering, okay, what are we going to do?
Where are we going? Where
are we going?
Where's it going?
Like, this is gonna go one of two ways, and I can't see it going the one way, and if it goes the other way, like, so, and they just pull it out at the end, and I was like, okay, wow, this is not just, I don't think it's just for theater people. I do think that if you're a theater person, you're gonna give this a higher grade.
I think you're gonna appreciate it more, for sure. There was a movie about improv that came out maybe 6 or 7 years ago, and I actually saw it at the art house
Oh,
that played
okay.
this. It was called, boy, I forget what it was called, but Keegan Michael Key was in it. It was essentially about this improv troupe, and they were trying to. I guess there was a scout from SNL coming or something, and so they were trying to really overwork and so for me, and I reviewed this back in the On Film Fanatic show. Yeah, look it up. It was Don't something, I forget. But anyway, I did it on the Old Film Fanatic show, and my buddies that I did that show with, Justin and Joe, had no real, basis for improv comedy or any,
And
but I did
that's
improv
hard.
in college, and so I think I got a better appreciation out of the movie. This is not as inside as that.
No,
I feel like this was palatable to people that have not done theater, but
Don't
maybe
think
have
twice.
Don't think twice. That's what I knew it was Don't something. Yes, thank you. Don't think twice. And for me, it's a recommended movie. I gave it an A-. I thought it was really well done, but it was very inside. I think this one is not. I think this is definitely more palatable, like watching a Christopher Guest movie if you've never been to a dog show or had
Right.
a dog.
I'm not a dog person.
And I'm not a dog person
and
either.
it's,
But
I
I
think,
love
probably one of the top ones of the best.
but I
think
love
that's
Best
probably
in
the
Show.
one.
So this to me is a lot like that in that regard. You could definitely, if you're a theater person, you're gonna definitely get more out of it.
For
But
sure.
I think it's palatable for anybody because it's funny.
Oh, it's very funny. I will
And
say
the songs are good.
a lot of the jokes are used in the trailer. But that was my.
That's why I don't watch. I've never seen a trailer for this movie, so I couldn't even tell you what the jokes were.
That I would say. So I would say that would probably my main complaint about the trailer.
Yeah.
Is they tried very hard to sell the movie.
Yeah.
With the funny aspects, and it is very funny, and it's not
very funny.
You're not like missing, they don't give you a lot of story to it. It's just like, this is theater camp, and then it's joke in this trailer.
Yeah.
Which is not the way the movie is, although it is very funny.
Very funny.
So I don't want to. Can't complain about that because it's not the movie.
Right. Yeah.
I just
the marketing team
because I was at the Barbie movie.
Yes, yeah. Sometimes you can't really avoid. I see a lot of kids trailers that way because I take my nephew, and then we always try to get there early for the popcorn or whatever. So, but anyway, so well, let's wrap it there. We're gonna grade this movie. I really teetered on this one. It's certainly a high grade. We know this. I was ready to give this an A-, and then when I learned that it's largely improv, I am gonna bump it up. I think, and again, I'm a theater kid, so take this grade kind of with a grain of salt, but I give this an A. I think this is an excellent comedy film.
I don't give A+, so that's I'm going to say that first.
Okay.
A is the highest. Just because in my world that was never a grade that existed, so it's not on my radar. I am going to give it the A- because I don't think it's going to appeal quite to enough
I think
people.
that's kind of the caveat there.
I think that I kind of want to watch it again, which I will say the older I get, the less often I repeat movies.
Me too.
But
it's readily available on Hulu now?
Yes. It's on Hulu. Definitely, it's nice and short. So
yeah, it's a quick watch.
Like, you're not going to waste a lot of time, and if it's not for you, you'll be like, well, that was 93 minutes.
And if you don't dig the mockumentary, Christopher Guest thing, this won't be for you either. I don't think.
I don't know.
Like, if you don't like Spinal Tap, I don't think the mockumentary style is for you.
I don't love Spinal Tap. So I don't
Yeah, but you love The Office.
I do. I love The Office.
That's mockumentary.
But I will say this is it's very mockumentary, but it's not so much that it takes away.
No, it's not a lot of like Jim winking at the camera kind of stuff.
No, it's very apart. There's some, title cards, then some, captions of things and things that are going on, some spy shots.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's over the top at all.
No.
And I almost forgot until you said that was one of my points why I thought it was so much because the mockumentary style. So I thought that was enjoyable. I actually think that aspect made it make more sense.
It did. I thought that was a good framing device.
Hadn't chosen that framing device, it would have been tougher. So I'm gonna go A-.
Okay.
But again, that's my second highest grade. So
that's very good. An A is mine. So there you go. Very enjoyable. Check it out on Hulu. Melissa, I don't know when we'll see you again next. We talked about doing an Emmy thing, but I don't think the Emmys are till January now, so I don't know what's going on there. But always lovely to have you.
See if I remember any of the shows.
I know. I have to watch a few more, but in any event, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see everybody next time. Bye.